tower. Okay, we got to 96% for Legacy on one round, but it was still a 2-0, so...
Well, guess we will need to wait and see. This is definitely not going to be what Legacy runs out with, surely. We're not. Oh, we are. Yes, we go. All right, I'm ready. I was ready to be baited, but I got double baited. Let's go.
Well,
between Rani and Noosh.
How does Sydney Drop Bears play around this? Waiting for the teleporter to be built. Looks like Rani's going to take it to the high ground.
We're going for high ground. Yeah, okay. Can't even see.
Much, hey?
Hello?
Well, Sydney Drop Bears are doing a nice job of just doing the run around.
Do Legacy know that they need to actually get on to the point?
They're just waiting for a pick bend.
Yeah, I'm going to be waiting a very long time, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, Sydney Drop Bears have seen this movie before.
Yeah, I know how this ends. Wait, is this the first or the second or the third Matrix? I'm not sure.
Such great positioning from Sydney Drop Bears. You could really see there was literally not a single angle, really, that Noosh could take to put any damage into Sydney Drop Bears. So now with that element of surprise gone, you have to expect Legacy swaps off here. Yeah. I like that they tried it.
Do you?
Yeah.
I also like that they tried it, but I also have to wonder...
Noosh is still on Bastion, by the way.
What was the win condition in that fight, Jordan?
They're going to try and fake them out again here, Ben. They're going to say, hey, we're playing GOATs, and then there's going to be a Bastion.
There's a Bastion in the back.
Who's literally on his own, getting no peel at all, while Reinhardt runs at him.
This is literally my matches in ranked play, where you've got a Bastion, you're like, guys, let's play GOATs, and then someone's like, what's GOATs? And then someone else is like, okay, but I'm playing Bastion.
Yeah.
It sounds like we're talking through a lot of action, and I guess we are, but the reality is that this is not going to work, Legacy.
No.
So there we go, Noosh. Bastion change off.
Yeah. Swap.
I'm going to report you.
Okay, and now all that Legacy have really achieved in doing is wasting 2 minutes because they have such an ult economy disadvantage. As you can see, Sydney Drop Bears may now well actually hold point A. But again, credit to Legacy for trying something. It's pretty obvious that the standard fights aren't really consistently working enough.
Yeah, correct.
So try and catch Sydney Drop Bears off guard, maybe sneak that map away as a result.
So like, is this Temple of Anubis point A? And then they realize they're on Hanamura. Nice little Earth Shatter comes through. The grab was used there by Haas as well. Bertlogs dropped the beat. So we now find ourselves with 90 seconds remaining on the clock, and they kind of stagger Noosh for another 90 seconds as well. Yeah,
Legacy may well feel as though they actually have a chance now in this fight based on all the ultimates that go in there from Sydney Drop Bears. If you can get a nice Earth Shatter here from Fundray onto a Kraken before he gets Transcendence up, that should well be the fight win actually for Legacy, assuming they execute correctly, because they'll have Sound Barrier, they'll have Rally. They're going to have that sustained through this fight that Sydney Drop Bears won't.
Here's the self-destruct from Shoyo. Oh! Big plays, and that fight is over as well.
Yeah, that really should not have happened. That was Legacy's chance to win the fight, and the only way that Sydney Drop Bears was going to win is if Shoyo gets 1 or 2, and then, what do you know, he gets 3. Shield just totally out of position. I mean, or you could say the rest of Legacy out of position. One way or another, the shield wasn't there to protect.
I'm the Reinhardt, you need to be behind me.
That's right.
Alrighty. Once again, Legacy push out into the breach. Fundray gonna go down here, and well, not much fun at all.
How does Fundray die there when you've got 2 support ultimates? I know Mo was just coming up on it, but Fundray either overextending, I mean, to be fair, probably did overextend.
Yes.
But there are the tools there that Legacy can use to keep him alive. And with 15 seconds on the clock, you have to keep him alive. This isn't a case of, oh, we'll just save him for the next fight. It's like, now we're going to have to push the point with 5 seconds on the clock. We might not even get there, who knows?
Oh, man, they're not even going to get there.
That just fell apart for Legacy, really.
Right. I think it would probably just be best if we went back, said we accidentally couldn't spectate the first half of this map and just let everyone know that they got full held. Anyway, look, 59.9%, you know, maybe.
Yeah, you reckon?
No.
You want to put some money on it?
No, I would not.
You want to put some Big Macs on it? I'll buy you a Big Mac if Legacy wins this, and you buy me a Big Mac if Sydney Drop Bears wins it.
How about you buy me a triple quarter pounder if Legacy win this?
I'll buy you a triple quarter pounder meal.
buy you...
A soft serve.
I don't even know if I want to do that.
Thanks for the free 50 cents. Or how much it costs now.
I'll buy you a soft serve from 1995. I'll give you 30 cents.
Did they not exist back then?
Weren't they 30 cents?
I don't know. I was 1 year old.
Well,
I don't know the concept of money.
It's not my fault. Anyway. Oh, man. Legacy probably not going to win this map. The Sydney Drop Bears in prime position now. Jordan to be 3 from 3 heading into Junkertown, and that's what they need to be doing. Everything is on the line for them, and by everything I mean 10K. 10K. So.
This is an all or nothing composition out from Legacy as well. Like either it works perfectly and you full hold, or you literally just lose the whole map. And in this situation, they have to full hold, otherwise. But I don't even get a chance to defend point B, so there's no point sort of thinking, okay, maybe we can use our ults on point B.
Look at Fundray, just sitting up there waiting for the lurk.
I don't know. I don't really see it working here. I think you need that 3-pronged defense. You need to have a Widow here or something like that, but Legacy doesn't really have anyone that plays that third DPS role.
Haas tries to take out Mo.
Almost got it.
Almost. Was this like a spider lurking, trying to catch a fly. The fly does get away. So instead, the Drop Bears change it up. Wants to counter this Farah that Rani is playing, and well, you think that Haas on the McCree might be able to do that. Nice little D-Mech there on to Shoyo as a result of the hack, and the Drop Bears is so far forward. What is he going on?
This is not a good spot for Tita to be in. He needs to disengage or die, really. If he dies now, he's going to get staggered quite heavily, but looks like the disengage has occurred. Well done from Sydney Drop Bears. And Legacy need to heal themselves up as well. Mo very, very low. Fundray just tagged, so is Rani. And Huss is going to be quite keen to clean up these low HP targets.
Look, they've managed to buy themselves 90 seconds, so that's not so bad here from Legacy. They need to follow it up with another 2.5 minutes.
This is it. That's it.
Oh, nice EMP. Stops the Deadeye as well. Self-destruct comes out from Noosh looking for picks. Won't find anyone. Fundray picked back up there by Stolen Picnic. Still 0%. And with Huss going down and Rani being able to come out there with the barrage, stays alive just long enough. Shoyo's going to be looking for one last shot.
Maybe that wasn't it. Thought as soon as we saw the overextension from Fundray on the Wrecking Ball, the shield bash comes across, he gets absolutely deleted. I was like, yeah, that's it. Literally, City Drop is just going to walk on this point and take it. But good response from Legacy. Luckily, they had the EMP, they had the rocket barrage, and they're able to use those to hang on. But now it's a case of building them up again, and Bertlog will have a sound barrier in the next fight. So too will Quats with the Primal Rage.
Noosh D-mech'd almost immediately, but a crack at Titawat go down. Rani and Ike combining to find a number of picks. Fundray doing a good job as well.
Wow.
Jordan, what is this? What is happening today?
This is you winning a triple quarter pounder meal or whatever
I am so ready for my triple quarter pounder meal, by the way. I am so ready.
No, look, Legacy, they still have to hold another fight here. Haas has gone off of the McCree. Gone to Zaya, but there is still Rocket Barrage, which may be a waste.
Titawat's in the back line here. He's not even in that fight. He does find Mo.
I mean, he's not in the fight, but he's still making an impact. It's one for none. And the respawns are going to be a lot faster.
Now he's picked up, so that's Stolen Picnic saving the day. Fundray goes down to Huss, though. They only need 66%. Well, that's a lie. They need 60%, actually. The Transcendence comes through, but with two already down, you think that it is inconceivable here. And looks like my double, triple quarter pounder meal is going to have to stay at the shop, alas. Not my day, Jordan.
No, unfortunately not. Well, there's still an attempt here from Legacy to hang on, but I think that is going to be it once Fundray goes down. Maybe I can get there to hang on just a second longer, but he will not. And I have just won myself a soft serve
30
from
cents.
McDonald's.
A 1995 soft serve.
Easy. I've got to admit, I was a little bit worried for a second there. I was a little bit worried. But Sydney Drop Bears, they do come through with the win. So they're up 3-0 now. So they have won the series. Great. Cool. That's, I guess, mission number 1.
Yeah.
Again, they needed to win the series to equalize the match win-loss against Order and Blank.
So now they've locked themselves in.
At least they've locked themselves in
top two. They're into Kudos Bank Arena. They're guaranteed to play in a semi-final now.
Yep.
The next map is can be a very expensive map. Should it not go their way, however.
Yes, it could be a $10,000 map. Literally, $10,000 on the line from this next Junkertown. If Sydney Drop Bears win, it goes to them. If they lose, it goes to Order. I hope I'm not making that number up, but I'm pretty sure that's correct.
Where did that actually come from? Anyway, I've seen it thrown around. It must be true. Anyway. The difference is that there is, this season, there was a lot of prize money kind of shifted to regular season prize pool.
Yeah.
Based on where you finished.
And it's also a lot heavier toward the top end of things as well. So the teams toward the bottom, you know, like 6 to 8 are not really getting quite as much, but number 1 and number 2 are getting a bit more. Or definitely number 1's getting more.
Yeah.
Which is where right now Order is sitting, but potentially and probably where Sydney Drop Bears is going to be sitting after Junkertown. Based on what we've seen so far from Legacy.
Yes, based on what we've seen so far, as we head now to Junkertown, this could be it. This could be where the Drop Bears lock in top spot on the ladder. Again, a position we probably expected to see them in at the start of the season. However, this has not been...
It's been a rocky road.
It has been a rockier road, that's for sure. It has not been smooth sailing. It wasn't a new road, right? They didn't just release a brand new highway for the Drop Bears to drive down. They said, look, you at least need to go down Parramatta Road.
No wonder it's
maybe
been bumpy.
Maybe it hasn't been that bad. We'll send you down at Parramatta Road at 9 AM on a Friday morning.
Maybe they went on the M5, had to pay the tolls.
Yeah, well, they paid a couple of tolls.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so Sydney Drop Bears, here we go. $10,000 up for grabs.
Yeah.
Extra. Not just 10,000. It's a lot more than that.
Yeah.
We're gonna be
I hope you're right, Jordan, because that'll be embarrassing if it's not true.
Yeah, it would. But I'm always right, so. Us going to just try and find an angle here with the Widowmaker. Double snipe at the setup for Sydney Drop Bears. And a Kraken. He's decided he doesn't want to play support, he just wants to heal himself, so he's going to play Roadhog instead.
Still going to be top of the healing chart half the time, mate.
Yeah.
The first pick was almost there, but it's going to be Fundray who goes down first. And now there is no shield for Legacy to work with. The team has to fall back into the fort of Junkertown itself whilst the payload pushes through to Objective A.
That was easy.
Yeah.
Literally nothing happened.
Helden sterben nicht.
Who's just going to get hooked as well. He's not going to go down, but he will get demec fairly shortly and might even just land right in the Dragons, but doesn't die. Still, it looks to be Sydney Drop Bears that are quite comfortably winning this fight. You can see the health bar of Fundray very low indeed. That'll force T1 forward. And easy as you like. Sydney Drop Bears will cut point A.
They will. But Legacy bought themselves probably another 30 or 40 seconds here. We will get top back up to 5 minutes 10, which is close to what Order had, I think, the last time around as well. We talked about how double snipers may be less effective here, Jordan, in the second phase of Junkertown, but potential for a team like the Drop Bears still to make the most of it. The Supercharger is dropped immediately, but Legacy, the team who win the fight, the Drop Bears will fall back and probably swap across the goats.
Yep.
They literally throw out everything for the lols.
Would be a little surprised if they did. The Supercharger went down for Sydney Drop Bears. It looked like for a moment they were actually going to find the picks that they needed. They did a lot of damage to Legacy, but if you don't get a pick before the Goats comp gets on top of you, then you've lost the fight, essentially, because of the heals being so strong. And Legacy was kind of just like a battering ram. But now it's Sydney Drop Bears to have their own turn. It's not going to cost them too much. Legacy also had to swap off after Phase A. So they're only about one fight behind in terms of the ult charge.
Waiting for an engage. This is all free time for Legacy, but they have so much time they need to claw back from the Drop Bears. And if every fight goes in favor of the Drop Bears, unfortunately that is not going to work for them.
I think that about sums it up. Not a whole lot that Legacy was able to do there. Sydney Drop Bears kind of just walked over them. Both teams only having the one self-destruct. Again, Legacy, they probably do have a better fight coming up here. They'll be able to hold one more in Phase B of the map when they do get this recontest. But it is, again, going to be a case of delaying the inevitable. Unless Sydney Drop Bears somehow finds a way to win this fight with a massive ult disadvantage, which might well happen as well. But if they lose here, Sydney Drop Bears, they just save their ults. Use them in the next fight. Legacy will have invested a few, and it should be a pretty easy walk into Phase C. Legacy
going to have the advantage heading into this next fight, the last fight of the second phase here of Junkertown. Objective B in the Drop Bears sights. The grabs comes through a Kraken with a Transcendence, but it will not save the main tank. Tidawat goes down. Fundray wants to find Haas as well. That would be 2 tanks down. Forced to use the Earthshatter to try and find a freebie. Does get Burtlock in the end and finally does find Haas. So
that was pretty big from Fundray, to be honest. And in fact, it's actually Legacy that come out somehow with a better ult economy than Sydney Drop Bears. They really didn't have to use too much, just the Shatter and the Graviton Surge, but no support ultimates. That's, I think, the key for Legacy here. Obviously, Sydney Drop Bears have got a lot of ults just coming online now, but with 2 support ultimates versus 1, Legacy actually have the ability still to sustain through this fight.
Looking for the beat to be dropped. There we go, aggressive beat in combination with that sound barrier. Hunt's going to hold on to the grab. It's not going to be needed. The Drop Bears complete the second phase, heading into Phase 3. The payload should push through this objective in just one moment. And then we'll have probably 3 minutes on the clock for the Drop Bears to go through the third and final phase in Objective C. Certainly looking quite feasible at this point.
And the issue in that last fight is that Mo goes down without using Transcendence. In fact, I don't even think he got hit by the Earthshatter. He may have been shield bashed by CKM. Whatever the case is, he needed to be able to get the Transcendence off. Stolen was sort of forced to then use the sound barrier to try and deal with the players that got Earthshattered, but by that stage already 2 of his teammates had gone down. So I don't think it was so much a late sound barrier as opposed to just players getting picked when they really shouldn't have.
Shatter finds Noosh, and that is it. It could be enough. Grab from Ike, going to get caught out there by Shoyo. This is not going Legacy's way, the Drop Bears. With everyone alive now, other than Huss, that wasn't a bad self-destruct. However, Transcendence dissipates from Mo. Fundray still sitting on his Shatter. Fundray actually quite low. Needs to be very, very careful in this scenario. Shoyo with the self-destruct into the back line. Finds 2. See you later.
Yeah, just going to obliterate the shield of Fundray there, which was very low indeed, and then he's finished off by a Kraken. Sydney Drop Bears pushing forward without any problems at all. That said, Legacy, again, on the ult build grind right now. But Sydney Drop Bears have got enough to kind of deal with it for the moment. The 2 support ultimates will be here shortly. A Kraken, if he keeps putting out damage like he has been, that 40% yet to get is not much at all.
Legacy push forward aggressively. Fundray with this ultimate available as well. His shield's so low, that goes down. A Kraken goes down though. And maybe that might force the Drop Bears back for just a moment. No healing available, no Discord Orb available. And Tidawat's so low, he's gone down. Now 1:15 on the clock. The payload's gone a long way, but Legacy are actually doing a good job here. They're stacking ultimates up, ready to go, and there's potential for them to cycle through these at such a rate, Jordan, that maybe they hold out. Is it possible?
Yeah, it's absolutely possible. Only 1 minute, that's, on a point like this, probably only one good fight for Sydney Drop Bears. Stolen is in a nice spot here, looking for a boot. See who he gets.
What if Legacy win here, Jordan? Will you give me a triple quarter pounder meal there?
Only if you're willing to bet a triple quarter pounder meal on it as well.
Noosh! Nice work. That's a very big self-destruct. The charge, I think, probably helped the scenario as well, Jordan.
Yes, it definitely did. Time is running out indeed. Diva is correct.
Yep, she's always right. Got to listen to Diva.
Sydney Drop Bears starting to bank the ultimates. Look at this. It's going to be 5 here. Lacking, of course, the Transcendence, but everything else is available.
Oh! Double Earth Shatter coming out. Bertlog drops the beat. Haas is the player with the last remaining ultimate. Now that self-destruct is available for Shoya. They try and combine, looking for kills. It's not going to find anyone. Not in the. I think it actually hit the rotating beam or something.
Yeah, he did.
So that's not what you want to see. Legacy now going to have that spawn advantage, even though the Drop Bears have swung it around quite a little bit. Noosh has the self-destruct, can potentially drop that on the cart, but he needs to time it well. Fundray goes down. You'll think the payload will make its way through. Noosh just buying time. Doesn't even throw out the self-destruct. Wants to leave it for one last fight. They're hoping that they can hold them here right on the point.
Yeah, it makes sense. The self-destruct actually can buy time here, and space more importantly, if they can get on the point and hold it, but I don't even know if he's going to get the opportunity to use it here. Rani will just about get there.
Yeah.
But no one else will.
Unfortunate. It wasn't, I don't think it was a bad play, to be honest.
I think it was fine.
You could have used it, but then, I don't know.
It wouldn't have achieved anything if he used it when he was demeched.
Yeah.
And it could have achieved something if he held it.
Correct.
Which is, in the end, I think...
You're playing the odds, but, you know,
the
you
risk
can't
versus
win them
reward.
all. Yeah.
In the end, it does go through to the overtime for Senior Drop Bears, so it's not like they capped with a lot of time left on the clock.
Do you think that the Drop Bears would be surprised at the challenges they have faced today?
I mean, what challenges, really? Outside of Junkertown here, it taking them a little while to actually finish the map off. Lijiang Tower was, in my mind, really clean.
Lijiang was pretty clean. Their defensive
Kings
side
Row
of Kings Row was
fine. But, you know, the maps are designed to be finished, right? So I think you always kind of give the benefit of the doubt to the attackers, in a way. So I think Legacy have done fine there. But Senior Drop Bears also quite cleanly won the map with the 2 or 3 minutes that they had.
Yeah, they had a lot left in the bank.
Challenge on Kings Row, maybe not. Hanamura, well, obviously.
Yeah.
Speaks for itself. And we'll see how this defensive side goes for Sydney Drop Bears, but if they don't get, or if they don't allow Legacy much further than, say, first or second phase, then again, I think it's a pretty clean map, and there hasn't necessarily really been much of a challenge for Sydney Drop Bears today. The only way that this becomes a challenge is if it kind of comes down to one fight at the end of phase C. If Legacy win it, they finish the map off. If not, then, you know, obviously. But by and large, I don't think that Sydney Drop Bears have necessarily been under too much pressure today.
Somehow we have a pause with one half of one map remaining.
Wouldn't be
in the regular season
without a pause, would it? So you kind of just got to get.
We can't have everything, Jordan. We
hey,
have we have 2 arena finals in a year, and we get the odd pause.
This is literally the last time you can pause in AU Contenders Season 1 2019. So
regular season.
Regular season.
Well, it's not the last time.
It's the last map.
It's the last half. Well,
you just got to slip it in there sometime.
Just do it. Just Just pause. Looking very good right now for the Sydney Drop Bears. Just to reiterate, they came into today with the potential of not being able to secure first spot should Order have won their match 4-0. That was not the case. Order dropped one map. They went 3-1. That puts them on a total of 23 map wins for the season. The Sydney Drop Bears started the day with 19 map wins. 4 map wins on the board for them, puts them at 23 as well. And the Drop Bears beat Order when they went head-to-head earlier on in the season, which would theoretically put them out on top. And in the meantime, we have Ike up here. What is this? We're just going to let you go from high ground to high ground.
Well, Sydney Drop Bears are trying to find the avenue which they don't have to run as far to engage this fight. Because the further that they have to run, the more free shots Ike is going to be able to get. But I think now that here, where the bridge is the worst spot for Legacy to fight in, and the best spot for Sydney Drop Bears to fight in. And having lost running now, we're going to be seeing Sydney Drop Bears running into Legacy.
Running into... Plus, when your Bastion is not in sentry mode and is running around holding left click, that's probably not the most effective use of the hero.
Indeed.
So
might as well play Soldier.
Yeah,
the pressure. You can right click for more damage.
Yeah. Exactamundo, Jordan. Exactamundo. All right, they're going to try again. They want to get this going, and of course it can be very difficult to get. Oh, look, they're just going to take the high ground now. The grab will come out from Haas, and well, they were all there anyway. But it's CKM who finds 2, finds 3 even.
This could be big.
Nah, it's not going to be big. He's a tank. It's not a real tank. It's a mini tank.
Well, he gets the one shot onto a
Does
Kraken.
get the Kraken. All right, I'll give you that one. Nice work, Ike.
But you consider how much was actually invested into Ike there for him to really only get 1 pick. He had obviously the nano boost, obviously both of the supports sort of pocketing him in a way, and then he uses tank form as well, and Sydney Drop Bears are kind of able to navigate all of that, and if Sydney Drop Bears can navigate that, then they're going to be able to avoid any other damage that Legacy is going to try and do. So as a result, Legacy decides to swap back to standard codes, give it another crack here. Noosh to buy some space.
Shadow goes through, Fundraise down in the meantime, and Bertlog and a Kraken found one apiece there. So even though a Kraken does go down as he finds the pick, it's still going to be Legacy who is forced to regroup. Shoyo sitting back with this self-destruct, 80 seconds on the clock. 80 seconds potentially remains of Legacy's season. But Huss, the first one down. That's a good pick from Mike. Shoyo goes down as well. Legacy now starting to find their way actually onto the payload, which is, of course, kind of the point here on escort maps. And look, maybe anything is possible.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Sydney Drop Bears should have another recontest here, and it should be a pretty good one as well with 2 support ultimates. So I'm counting my chickens before they hatch. The sound barrier down preemptively. That's not too bad of an idea, I don't think.
Yeah, Noosh going to be demacted as well. Fundray going to have to fall back. He's taking a little bit of damage. The shield is down also. Self-destruct available. Transcendence pumped by a Kraken. That's now both support ultimates used along with the grab from the Drop Bears. So there's one fight left here for the Drop Bears to hold on to, but Legacy will have the advantage.
But what?
What?
Are you serious? Bows use Transcendence there to try and save Ike, who, if Ike dies, they still have time to actually get on. I was going to say, I think Sydney Drop Bears invested maybe a little too much, but now with Ike being staggered and no Transcendence for Legacy, Sydney Drop Bears going to be pretty happy with that.
All right, 5 seconds on the clock. We're going to run out of time bank to go into overtime. So not only does Ike get picked, but unfortunately that grab is not going to work. That Earth Shatter, though, only finds 1. I think it was he booped away. I'm not even sure. Maybe it was Peterwatt who was booped away.
Peterwatt got booped.
Right, but it still doesn't find the pick we wanted, and the Drop Bears will hold strong. Legacy will fall short on Junkertown. And the Sydney Drop Bears come through with the 4-0 up against Legacy, putting them to the top of the ladder. 23 map wins across the season, Jordan. Congrats to the Drop Bears.
Yeah, can you imagine Order again? Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Literally every season, they've been the team that has been the closest matched against Sydney Drop Bears as a general rule.
Yep.
And once again, they come second in the season.
They were standing on the altar as well. They were ready to go. And then the Drop Bears just come through Wrecking Ball style, scoop them off, and say, no, this is my wedding mates. Exactly.
Well, just by 1 map as well. Look, to be fair, that's our conjecture. We haven't actually had it confirmed by the standings.
We haven't seen this.
We're pretty sure.
We're just pretty sure they're going to win 10,000 extra and come first. But we'll probably double check. Because it wouldn't be the first time we were wrong, would it?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, some good plays. Look, there were lots of good things here from Legacy. And yes, when you go back through the season, sure, they're not going to make playoffs, but
there was lots of good, lots of bad, and that is what you're going to get out from a team who's having their first season of Contenders.
Yeah.
Look, I got to say, I think for Legacy, obviously we hyped them up at the start of the season. Maybe they didn't quite deliver at least a playoffs run, which was our hope for them. But they were able to get a series win against Athletico, all very experienced players on that roster. They were able to take a couple of maps off blank, which was a team that was looking like one of the best teams in the region.
If it was any of the other seasons, if it was the old format, they would have made playoffs.
Yeah, this is
you know, it is what it is. It's a little bit tougher now, but hopefully better for it's better for the games. There's less dead rubbers. There's less average games. Even the games that are 4-0, there's still some interesting moments, and everyone improves because the teams are kind of condensed, you know, all those good things we've been talking about all season long. So, yep, to recap there, a nice little 4-0 for the Drop Bears. Order, on the other hand, dropped a map Of course, they had a more difficult match, but everyone's played everyone else all season long. So there's no excuses anymore. It's not like, oh, well, yeah, but they're in Group A and we're in Group B, and Group B is the group of death.
I think for Order, really, like, it doesn't necessarily come down to the games against Melbourne Mavericks and the games against Legacy. Where they dropped the ball was, unfortunately, against the match that they had against Sydney Drop Bears. You know, you go down 4-0 there. Like, imagine if they took that one through to the tiebreaker, or they took a map off of Sydney Drop Bears. It could have been a different story.
They made a choice,
today.
right, to change up what they were going to play, change up their roster, and maybe at the end of the season it was the right choice, but it cost them at that time of the season. Right. So, look, it's tough, but
end of the day, though, like, the real prize is obviously still making it through to the top 2, which I think,
and
again, I'm pretty sure Auto have been able to do.
So yeah.
You get that auto berth through to IEM, you get the auto berth through to the semi-finals. So, look, money's money, but end of the day, you want to get the win of the entire season. So, first seed out of the regular season, it's not going to be too big of a bother, really, when it comes to the big matches on the stage.
I want to wait and see how the playoffs stack off, and we'll get to that in just a moment. For now, it's our last regular season. Max has played the game. Let's take a look. A McDonalds Australia play of the game. It was the Sydney Drop Bears up against Legacy Esports, and this was a very nice little EMP from Ike.
Oh, it's a 6-man EMP as well. It's about as good as it can get. And if you remember, this is where Stolen had just died beforehand, or in the previous fight, toward the end of the previous fight, and was kind of staggered. Had to get back in here, and things were looking a little bit dire for Legacy in holding that point. They needed that EMP. They needed a big EMP, and Ike was able to do that. So I guess credit to Ike, not only with that EMP, but he had pretty solid EMPs throughout the day. So I guess, you know, wooden spoon prize, right? You get the Macca's play of the game, but for Legacy, again, there was takeaways out of this season. There was takeaways out of this game. Even though they don't win, they don't get too much out of the season, obviously coming 7th. I think it's still a pretty good baseline to build off.
Certainly is. So let's recap today as we pull together our playoffs bracket, ready to show you in just a moment. Order up against the Melbourne Mavericks. That is where we started. Order obviously starting the week as well. I think, were they on top, or we were thinking that they should probably come out on top, was more so the point. They had the most map wins of anyone. They're already up there on 20. If they 4-0'd the Melbourne Mavericks, they secured themselves first place. There were no ifs or buts. There was nothing else to consider. That was going to be the result. But the Mavs lineup really, I feel, did take it to Order today. Yes, they did not come out on top, but there were a lot of takeaways from that match. Maybe this Order lineup's going to be shaken up a little bit shook, mate. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe they really don't care at all. And, of course, the Drop Bears up against Legacy. So, with all of our regular season matches played, let's take a look at the standings. Number 1, the Sydney Drop Bears, 6 wins, 1 loss, and 23 map wins. Order are sitting in 2nd on the same result, but to reiterate, because of the head-to-head, Sydney Drop Bears went up against Order as everyone plays everyone else. The Drop Bears came out on top and did so, I think, with the 4-0, right? It was very, very odd result, but nevertheless, that is how it plays out. Blank, even though they also had 6 wins, they only had 19 map wins. That locks them into 3rd. The Mavs now in 4th. So those are your top 4 teams. We know the Sydney Drop Bears and Order move straight to the semis. They are going through to Kudos Bank Arena in the semi-finals. But Blank Esports, the Melbourne Mavericks, Mindfreak G, and Ground Zero Gaming, they're going to round out the rest of the playoffs bracket. And if we go now and take a look at that, you can see how this lines up. As we suspected, Mindfreak up against the Melbourne Mavericks. That's going to be your first quarterfinal. Then Blank Esports up against Ground Zero Gaming. I still can't help but feel that that second match is going to be the more difficult for Ground Zero to push through than perhaps if they'd gone up against the Mavs.
Yeah, well, it does actually lead us up to some pretty interesting storylines. If you remember, it was Blank up against Heist last season in the playoffs, and Blank lost 3-0 to Heist, who is now Ground Zero. And there's an opportunity for Blank here to get a bit of a revenge. Obviously, both Melbourne Mavericks and Mindfreak were also in playoffs last season. Both missed out on going through to the season finals.
And one last thing here, Jordan, on this playoff brackets before we go any further. The other result of coming first and coming second is that now the Sydney Drop Bears will go up against the winner of the Melbourne Mavericks and Mindfreak G, whilst Order, who came second, go up against the winner of Blank and Ground Zero, and that is not the game that I would want to be playing as my semi-final.
I mean, in theory, that should be 2 versus 3 in the semi-final, and then 1 versus 4 in the semi-final, which would be Sydney Drop Bears and Mavericks up against Order and Blank.
Yeah.
So you would obviously assume that Melbourne Mavericks would be an easier task than Blank would be. But I think for both of these semi-finals, regardless of who gets through from the quarterfinals, it is a match that we expect Sydney Drop Bears and Order to win. And once again, we'll get that storyline of Sydney Drop Bears versus Order in the final, as we did last year.
Yeah, it is shaping up for a bit of a huge